Welcome to Magic Beyond the Books. Today we are talking about Professor Sybill Patricia Trelawney. I'm Jess.
And I'm Rene. Warning, there are Harry Potter spoilers in this episode. Do you want to give us a character summary?
Yeah, I didn't know her government name had Patricia in the middle, so that's interesting. Um, the name Trelawney appears in the books 252 times. Sybill Trelawney is the divination teacher at Hogwarts, though she finds the hustle and bustle of the main school clouds her inner eye.
Yeah, so let's jump right in. We're going to get into her character timeline. So first, she was born March 9th to a muggle mother and a wizard father. And she is the great-great-granddaughter of the famous seer Cassandra Trelawney. So then I'm guessing that Cassandra is like on her dad's side, if her dad is the wizard, right?
Yeah.
And she gets sorted into, when she goes to Hogwarts, she gets sorted into Ravenclaw House, which I feel like she's a very interesting Ravenclaw.
I mean, she kind of gives off Luna Lovegood vibes a little bit, and Luna is also in Ravenclaw.
That's true. Maybe some Ravenclaws, it's like more about seeing the world differently or being like open to more things existing and being like more curious about like divination or some of the different arts, I guess.
hmm Yeah, because I feel like being able to like see and predict what's happening, it's kind of like a clever, you would always be one step ahead of everybody else, which we know is the Ravenclaw trait.
Yeah. And then after Hogwarts, Trelawney actually married early. I found this in the wiki. So she married, but that marriage ended. They divorced early because she refused to adopt the surname Higglebottom, and they had no children, which makes a lot of, I feel like this tracks for her character. She very much wants to be known as like Cassandra Trelawney's
Mhm.
granddaughter. And,
Yeah.
I can imagine her. And also, who wants to have the last name Higglebottom?
Yeah. It's kind of funny that they got divorced over this.
Yeah, like this
Like,
wasn't
yeah.
discussed before.
Exactly. Why didn't y'all talk about this before?
And the way J.K. Rowling describes this is she must have like drifted through society in the wizarding world, trying to get a job from her ancestry. And then this is where we get into the Harry Potter timeline. So sometime late, either 1979 or 1980, she interviews for a job at Hogwarts with Dumbledore. And I don't know what they call this. This is like the key. This is the moment that sets off the entire series,
Yeah.
is her making this prediction to Dumbledore.
Yeah. You ever think about that?
I know. She seems like she's such a like random like funny side character, and it's like, but she is so important to the plot.
Exactly. And I don't think they mention that in the movies at all. So if you didn't read the books, you wouldn't know, like, kind of. I mean, they mention the prophecy, like, Trelawney did have the prophecy, but I don't think they mentioned that that was kind of what started the whole chain of events. And that's pretty much why Dumbledore hired her, right? Was because right in front of him, she had a prophecy and she didn't remember it. So he was like, this is the real deal.
Yeah. And he's like got to snatch this lady up real quick and keep her from Voldemort or
Mhm.
any other like dark wizard discovering her. So we're going to keep her on lockdown at the castle.
Yeah. Yeah, in 1981, she started work at Hogwarts as the divination teacher. So she was there for a bit because in 1993, Harry begins the divination classes with Trelawney. In 1994, Trelawney makes her second prophecy about Pettigrew rejoining Voldemort and him rising to power. And that, I believe, was in front of Harry, right?
Yeah, that she did that like at the end of his divination exam. And again, same situation where she like goes into a trance and doesn't remember it afterward. But we're going to get into her prophecies later, so we won't go down that too much right now.
Yeah. In 1996, she was fired by Umbridge, and McGonagall stands up for her to where she can at least stay at the school because that is where she's lived for the past, what, like close to 20 years? What did we say?
Yeah, wait, from 1981 to
96.
96?
So 15 years
I
she's
actually
lived there.
love this moment for McGonagall and Trelawney.
hmm
Her like standing up for her. even though McGonagall doesn't like her. I saw something from J.K. Rowling about Trelawney, and she talked about how McGonagall and Trelawney are like polar opposites.
Mm-hmm.
Trelawney is like, you know, up in the divination space, and she's much more like cares about her presentation, whereas McGonagall is stern and strict, but very intelligent and very much like seems more like about the here and now.
Mm-hmm.
And J.K. Rowling talked about how like this was important for McGonagall to step in and help Trelawney because she felt like McGonagall, like deep down, McGonagall knew that Trelawney had like, I don't know how to put it. Trelawney's kind of, I think Trelawney deep down kind of knows that she's a fraud. Like she tries to stand on like her reputation from her ancestor, and I think maybe she doesn't think she's a fraud, but she like has feelings of inadequacy.
Mm-hmm.
And like in J.K. Rowling's writing about her and McGonagall, she said that McGonagall like knew that, and McGonagall doesn't like her, but she wasn't going to let like Umbridge, you know, kick her out of the school basically.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of is giving like Hermione like standing up for house elves energy. Like, well, because even like Hermione has trouble with Trelawney, like they don't see eye to eye, and it kind of reminds me, like Hermione reminds me a lot of McGonagall in the sense that rule follower, like trying to keep things together, very intelligent, that sort of thing. So I think it's like an interesting contrast because same thing, like Hermione would have gone up there and stood up for Trelawney, you know what I mean? Just because she's standing up to the true evil, which is Umbridge. So
Yeah, I really liked that moment. And then after that, but we know like ends up staying at the school. So she stays there even after she's like fired. But then the
hmm
following year, she starts working again because Dumbledore comes back, Umbridge leaves. So the 1996 to 1997 school year, that's Harry's sixth year, she starts teaching. But Firenze, the centaur, had been teaching in her absence. So then what they do is they split classes, which Trelawney does not like.
yeah, yeah, because isn't she's like against Firenze and like the way he sees things, right?
Yeah, I think much like McGonagall and Trelawney don't get along, like Firenze and Trelawney don't get along. I think she tries to maybe like talk to him about the way that I think human divination and like centaur divination is different. And I think
Mm.
it seems like centaur divination is much more like long term. Like when they're predicting the future, they're like looking 10 years out. They're looking at big changes and movements, wars, whereas she makes predictions about people breaking things that day or having like a bad hair day,
Yeah.
So I think they just don't really connect on that level.
Yeah. He's basically like, that's child's play.
Yeah. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that. What? Like, do you think
Yeah.
the stars care about like Neville
It's like
breaking a
petty
cup?
human stuff. Yeah.
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 But I don't know. I don't get the vibe that Firenze doesn't like Trelawney. I think this is a one-sided thing.
I think it's like beneath him.
Yeah. Okay, so then in 1998, that's when we have the Battle of Hogwarts, and Trelawney fights in that. I kind of forgot about that she does like actively fight in that, which I feel like I'm not a huge Trelawney fan, but I feel like that gives her a lot of points for me.
I don't even remember her fight. Like, was she mentioned in like a scene?
Yeah, she's throwing crystal balls like she's like
Oh, yeah, that's funny. That's funny. It's funny that it's like a unique way for her to fight back, right? It's like
yeah.
she, who knows if she actually knows any defense against the dark arts, but she's definitely going to use what she knows and hurl her prophecies at people.
Yeah, I'm very curious like what is her actual level of magic? Cuz we always talk about her with her like predictions and like whether she's right or wrong with that, but I would be very curious to know like how good of a witch is she?
I mean, I've never seen her use magic.
Right?
Being honest
Right?
with you. Like, what if she's like a squib?
Like this whole time. I mean, could be. And but back to her timeline. So she continues to teach, I think, until the 2010s. And in 2020, she wrote a book, My Eyes and How to See Past Them. So Do with that what you will.
Oh.
But that pretty much wraps it for what we know about her timeline. Should we talk about etymology of her name?
Yeah. So Trelawney is a Cornish name, and J.K. Rowling loves Cornish surnames.
But apparently Trelawney is a very old name, and I guess the like reference to her character is supposed to be because it's an old name, it's supposed to be suggestive of her like over reliance on her ancestry, like always trying to bring up Cassandra and
Hmm.
seek to impress with that.
Yeah. I mean, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. And apparently there's an old Cornish song that features the name Trelawney. The song is called The Song of Western Men, if you want to look it up.
Hmm. Did you?
No.
uh,
Sorry, I did it. And I can't we can't play music on the pod, so.
yeah.
All right, but then Sybill is spelled Sybill. That's how Trelawney spells her name. But it's supposed to be a homonym of Sybil, which is Sibyl, and that is like a female clairvoyant of ancient times. So that's the inspiration that J.K. Rowling took. But I think she didn't want to spell it the same because, again, like indicating that Trelawney's maybe not like to that level
Yeah.
of being a seer.
The Patricia part is what's funny to me. So her middle name Patricia comes from Latin and means noble woman. So maybe this is J.K. Rowling's way of saying, like, even though she's kind of a fraud, and she has this ancient name, she still will do the right thing when it comes to it. Like, her fighting the Death Eaters is, like, testament to that. And her predictions, some of her predictions we know are very true, so.
Yeah, she does have some ability, however deep, I guess it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, Patricia is funny. Patricia, I don't believe it comes up at all in the actual books, other than the prophecies in the Hall of Prophecy. The way they're labeled is people's initials. So it says SPT made this prediction to, and then like all of Dumbledore's initials because he has like 20
yeah.
names. And then I thought it would be good to also mention, as far as etymology stuff, Cassandra is her famous ancestor in the books. But Cassandra is actually that was a Trojan seer who was, so, like, this is Greek mythology, was supposedly gifted the gift of prophecy by Apollo. But when she didn't, receive his romantic advances, then Apollo cursed her, so she would always be correct but never believed. So that's kind of the history behind Cassandra, that name. And I think it's like interesting because that kind of applies to Trelawney. And I'm not really sure, we don't get too much about like her ancestors past. Like, I don't know if people believed her or not. It seems like she was like well renowned though.
Yeah, and it's funny, it's almost like Cassandra should be Trelawney's name because she also, I mean, divorced that man. So spurred romantic advances. And she is
Yeah.
always correct but never believed. So it's funny that that is Cassandra, not Sybil.
Yeah, that is interesting. So Sybil's wand, what we know about her wand is that it's 9.5 inches, hazelwood, and unicorn hair core, which I think the unicorn hair, that's the one that's hardest to turn to the dark arts.
Mm.
And again, I think we're getting a lot of reminders, like little hints throughout, that Trelawney's not a bad person. You might not like her, and there's, some things that are unlikable about her, but she's not on the side of evil for sure. She's definitely on the side of good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like we can't talk about Trelawney without going through all of her many predictions, right? So I broke this up into her legit prophecies, then predictions, and then like just general comments that she made that aren't really predictions, but like I feel like we can still kind of talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about her real prophecies first. Do you want to do read the first one?
Yeah, and I'm gonna try really hard not to do it in like a voice.
Okay.
It will happen tonight. The Dark Lord lies alone and friendless, abandoned by his followers. His servant has been chained these 12 years. Tonight, before midnight, the servant will break free and set out to rejoin his master. The Dark Lord will rise again with his servant's aid, greater and more terrible than ever before. Tonight, before midnight, the servant will set out to rejoin his master. So this is about Barty Crouch Jr., right?
This one, I think this is about Pettigrew. This is the one that she makes to Harry right before like Pettigrew escapes. Oh, I guess
Yeah, because it
it
says
is
his
about
servant
Barty
has been
Crouch.
changed these 12 years because
Oh my
he
gosh,
was in the
this whole
prison.
time I've been thinking this is about Pettigrew, but now you're making me think I guess it is about Barty
Because really,
Crouch.
Pettigrew's already out and he's not doing shit. He's like a rat. So it's like, it's
That's
because this it
true.
says, will rise again his servant's aid, greater and more terrible than ever before. Because set it free, wait, the servant will break free and set out to rejoin his master. So I think this is the night that Barty Crouch Jr. actually switched with his mother in Azkaban and went
Oh,
and
yeah.
rejoined Voldemort. Because really, that's what the whole reason that they're not doing anything, like Pettigrew isn't helping or found the dark, like I think he found the Dark Lord at that point because he escaped after the third book from
Well,
like
this
Ron
is
and them, right?
yeah, this prediction was made towards the end of the third book.
Mm-hmm.
This prediction was made right before like the whole chain of events of them finding Sirius in the Shrieking Shack, and they find
Mm-hmm.
Pettigrew, they realize he's a rat, and then like he escapes, and Sirius Black escapes and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole time I was like, oh yeah, like Pettigrew rejoined, because Pettigrew's the one that goes and finds Voldemort. But technically, Barty Crouch is like a key part of that story as well, of
And
bringing him
Barty,
back.
exactly. And Barty Crouch, I like, we all of the Barty Crouch stuff has to happen before the start of fourth year because that's when Mad Eye Moody goes to teach at Hogwarts. And we know that he is Mad Eye Moody, polyjuiced the entire school year.
Year.
That's like why. So it's like it kind of happened at the same time. Like Pettigrew found Voldemort, but then Barty Crouch Jr. also escaped and joined Voldemort. So it was them together, I think, that like helped him
Yeah.
rise again.
That's true, because they're the two that go to Moody's house like and take over like Moody's body, and they're the ones that are like setting up this whole plan with Voldemort to get Harry from the Triwizard Tournament. The only thing is, I think the whole him escaping prison with his mom switching, I think that happened years ago. I think him breaking free is him breaking free from his dad, because his dad had him like at his house under an invisibility cloak,
Mm.
like
Yeah, that's
being
true.
whatever.
Do we know how long? I know we talked about that before, but do we know how long he was like that with his dad?
I think years. I don't know how
Mm.
long exactly. Because the reason I say that is because Sirius was in prison and he knows that Barty Crouch came into the prison while he was there. Like he saw him being taken in.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says that he dies a year later. Like that's what Sirius thinks.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the mom dies, right?
Yeah.
And
Right?
that would have been,
I don't know. The timeline's all messed up in my head. And
yeah,
I'm
it would
sorry.
have been
When
years ago.
when
Go
did
ahead.
you say this prediction was made? When did you say that Sybill Trelawney did this? Like said this out loud?
She makes this towards the end of the third book. So when Harry takes his like divination exam, so this is like the end of the year
Mm-hmm.
exam. He takes his exam and then she makes his prediction. Literally that night is when all the shit goes down with like Pettigrew and Sirius. But I think that maybe this is a two-part, because the whole thing says it will happen tonight. The Dark Lord has been chained these 12 years. Tonight before midnight, the servant will break free and set out to rejoin his master. And then she says again, like tonight before midnight. Maybe it is about, maybe parts of it are about Pettigrew, but it also says the servant will break free and set out to rejoin his master, which might apply. Maybe it's about both of them.
Yeah, I don't know. Because
Or
that
like,
makes
or some of it's about Pettigrew, but then it says the servant will break free and set out to rejoin his master. The Dark Lord will rise again with his servant's aid, greater and more terrible than ever. I mean, it keeps saying the servant, the servant, the servant.
I know, and it's just funny because to me this isn't about Pettigrew.
It
Like I
makes
don't
more
know, it's
sense.
just It
Yeah, it
makes more
makes more
sense
sense
that
that
it's
it's
Barty
about,
Crouch Jr.
yeah, because he's the one that's like actually intelligent and like
Yeah.
does like most of, he's the one that like is more of the key to making Voldemort more successful, like I feel.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So I guess that's a question for the listeners. Do you think this is about Pettigrew or about Barty Crouch or about both? But yeah, but this is her second real prophecy that we know about as far as the timeline. Her first prophecy that we talked about earlier is the one that's like the prophecy that sets off this whole timeline of events. So that is the one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord approaches, born to those who have thrice defied him, born as the seventh month dies, and the Dark Lord will mark him as his equal, but he will have power the Dark Lord knows not. And either must die at the hand of the other, for neither can live while the other survives. The one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord will be born as the seventh month dies.
A couple questions here.
Okay, let's get into it.
Okay. Born to those who have thrice defied him. So, I mean, this is James and Lily Potter. Do we know the thrice defying of him?
I don't think we do.
Like,
yeah,
okay.
or we know that they were in the Order of the Phoenix. So I think we can assume that there were like 3 instances that they like, stood up against him in a fight or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Or this could apply, let's not forget, this also applies to the Longbottoms. So Frank and Alice Longbottom also thrice defied him in some way.
Okay. Yeah, because they're both in the Order of the Phoenix, so it makes sense.
Yeah. And then born as the seventh month dies. Harry's birthday
July
is
31st.
Yes, and I believe Neville's birthday is the 30th. So they're like both, that applies to both of them. And then I think born is the seventh month. So born to the first couple lines, born to those who have thrice defied him, born as the seventh month dies. That's as far as Snape heard, and that's what he reported to Voldemort. What he didn't report was the Dark Lord will mark him as his equal, but he will have power the Dark Lord knows not, and then the rest of that prophecy. This is the point when it can't be Neville anymore, because Voldemort goes and attacks Harry and gives him the scar.
Yep, and that's marking him as his equal.
Yeah. And then the power that the Dark Lord knows not is about Harry's like love and heart. And then either must die at the hand of the other, for neither can live while the other survives.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Harry ends up killing him.
Because they can only really kill each other. Like, Voldemort has to destroy the Horcrux. And then to be able to kill Harry. And I feel like Harry is the only one with, like, the know-how of how to actually hurt him. Yeah. Is the Horcruxes and everything.
I think if you believe that all these, like, actual prophecies will come to happen, then yeah, like it has to be one of them. And then she just repeats, the one that the power to vanquish the Dark Lord will be born as the seventh month dies. These prophecies have a lot of repeating. They're like, just in case you missed it, before midnight.
It's like an insurance policy, like, and once again, born as the seventh month dies, not the 8th, the 7th.
Yeah. Like, if you weren't listening, not like these things are recorded in fancy little crystal balls.
Yeah, how are they recorded in the crystal balls? We never really, like, hear about that.
I don't get that either. Like, how do they... I kind of imagine it is like... Yeah,
I imagine it as, like, you know how you can take memory out? Like, when you put your wand to your temple and, like, pull something out, I'm sure they're doing something in their head, like saying some sort of incantation or something. But, like, maybe it's like that, where you can also pull out predictions and, like, tap it into a crystal ball.
Yeah, but we know that, like, Trelawney doesn't know about this. So Dumbledore, like, went to the Ministry and was like, here's this prophecy?
Yeah, I don't really know. Maybe
Or do they automatically just show up? Like, the Ministry just, like, gets a new ball? Like, it just, like, appears on the shelf?
Yeah. Like in Inside Out. You ever watch that movie?
No.
Oh. Yeah, it's like in Inside Out, whenever they have like a feeling, like they're associated with like joy or sadness or whatever. So whenever the girl feels something, a new little ball comes out and it's the color of like the feeling. Like she
Oh, interesting.
experience in life, like joy, and like she wins the hockey game or whatever, and like a little yellow ball comes out and it's like a joyful memory, and you can like watch the memory on the little ball.
Oh, cute.
So,
But the prophecies also confuse me. The Hall of Prophecies, there's like so many questions, and maybe I shouldn't even go down this
mhm.
rabbit hole. But like when the
That would be a
prophecies,
good episode talking about like the ministry and all the departments in there.
yes, because it's so confusing. Because the Hall of Prophecies itself, when those, it's like you don't know what they are. Only the people that the prophecies are about can take them down. And then they say the prophecy out loud only when it's smashed, and then it says it once, and then it's gone. So it's kind of like, so I guess the people at the ministry don't even know what all those prophecies are.
Yeah, but then why did they keep them?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hmm. Hmm.
Interesting.
Well,
Anyways,
maybe it's like only the people that the prophecy is about can like take it. I think that's the rule, but I think anybody can see it.
you think like they can go out to it and like hear the prophecy?
Because that's why Malfoy could not take the prophecy. Harry had to be the one to grab it, but then he's trying to get the prophecy from Harry,
That's
right?
true. He
So it's
touches
like,
it after it gets taken down. It's like
mhm.
just being taken down off the shelf
Yeah,
is the
so it's like
problem.
Harry had to be the one to take it, but I think anybody can see it. That's why they were wanting it from Harry.
Yeah, but the only thing is like I know they can see the actual ball, but you must be able to, but you must have to do like a
Yeah.
spell or something to like hear it because it
Yeah,
doesn't
I
like
think you
talk to
can.
you.
I think
Okay, okay.
if anybody can see and hear it like once they have the ball, but I think only the person that it's about can take it down from the shelf,
Yeah, which is like
right?
a weird rule.
I don't know. J.K. Rowling, one of J.K. Rowling's weird rules that
Yeah.
she like it's like, "Oh, but this." And it's like, "Okay."
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so those are the only two like real prophecies that she makes where she goes into the trance, right?
Mhm.
Then there's a lot of just general predictions. So we can kind of go through these quickly. So I just tried to like jot these down from the books. Let me know if I missed one. But okay, the first class, she makes a bunch of predictions. She says, classes will be disrupted in February by nasty bout of flu. I myself will lose my voice. We never really get confirmation if this happens or not. So I think this is like, I feel like she could probably just like pretend that her voice is lost at some
Yeah.
point to make
Yeah.
this come true.
And it's funny because I'm pretty sure February is like flu season, right? Or something.
Yeah.
So
Like, so I feel like she's just like, yeah, when they all like, it's a school full of kids. They're gonna have like moments where they all get sick. So I feel like this is just like a general comment that's probably gonna come true. Next, she says, around Easter, one of our number will leave us forever. Which this one does come true because Hermione quits the class around that time. So
oh.
I think that one worked out. She says to Lavender, that thing you are dreading, it will happen on Friday the 16th of October. And Friday the 16th of October, Lavender finds out that her bunny died. And
Mhm.
she interprets that as this prediction coming true. But Hermione brings up a lot of good points of like the bunny was young. Like it wasn't like something she was dreading. And the bunny died like the day before. So I think technically I would say this didn't come true.
Yeah. I'm really wondering if there's something else that happened. I thought it was her grandma. It wasn't her grandma, it was her bunny.
Yeah, it was her pet. Yeah, no.
Oh,
So it
okay.
wasn't that dark.
Yeah.
Then to Neville, the first class, she says, after you've broken your first cup, would you be so kind as to select one of the blue patterned ones? I'm rather attached to the pink. This I saw J.K. Rowling wrote a note that like stuff like this comes true, like Neville breaks the cup, but it's like one of those tricks that like street performers or any like fortune tellers can do where they just, you see Neville, he's klutzy, he's
Yeah.
nervous, like you make a strategic guess that he's probably going to break something, and there's these glass cups. Like I feel like this is a little bit like the one before of like, okay, guessing that there's going to be flu during flu season.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like we know Neville's gonna break his cup.
Yeah. And then she also tells Parvati to beware a redheaded man. I think it's interesting because her sister, she like gets her sister to go to the Yule Ball with him the next year, and they like
About to
don't have a
say,
good
I think
time.
this is about like Ron whenever
Yeah.
they're like going to the U Ball together.
Yeah, like I think it like is maybe about Ron, and
Hmm.
that like kind of does come true. And then this is another like big one that's not technically a prophecy, but her interpretation of Harry's tea leaves. So she says, "The falcon, my dear, you have a deadly enemy," which is like, okay, duh. The club, an attack. The skull, danger in your path, and you have the grim, the giant spectral dog that haunts churchyards. My dear boy, it is an omen, the worst omen of death. So that's the prediction she makes when in the first class. And then she kind of like repeats a lot of these themes in the later class while looking at the crystal ball. She says, "It is here plainer than ever before, my dear, stalking toward you, growing ever closer, the grim." And then
Hmm.
throughout her classes, she continues to predict Harry's death with more certainty as the years progress. And I would say this is like very true. First of all, the
Yeah.
Grim or a black dog is stalking him like all of the third year. And then he dies in book 7. Like, and she keeps saying like every year that he's like death is near him. And also like the fact that the fourth book, like he competes in the Triwizard Tournament with Cedric, and Cedric dies that year. So I feel like, and Harry's like always with Cedric. So I feel like her seeing death around Harry isn't that crazy.
Yeah. And to me, this is a bit more grounded because it's Harry's tea leaves, right? And so it's like it's not anything that Trelawney, you know, kind of cooked up on her own. It's like
Yeah.
actually written in his fate from the tea leaves. Like if you believe the power of the tea leaves and predictions in that way. So to me, it's a little bit more grounded, literally. So
Yeah.
it's more like grounded in the leaves, in the tea leaves. So to me, it's like more accurate. And maybe that's why that like this is to be taken more seriously than her other little tiny notes
Like
and
comments.
predictions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. Then she says to Neville, "You'll be late next time. So mind you work extra hard to catch up." Again, I think this is where like you're just,
He's
yeah.
just been like,
Yeah. Like this is Neville. Like you can kind of like read that. McGonagall does note that she's predicted the death of one student each year ever since she started teaching at Hogwarts, which we said was like 15 years or something, and none of them had died yet. But I mean, they all probably, I mean, predicting someone's going to die. Yeah, like I predict that I'm going to die one day. I predict that you're going to die like we're all
yeah.
going to die, so I guess it's like technically true, you know? But
Yeah.
but
I
like
wonder if she's saying though, like, I wonder if the prophecy, like Trelawney is saying, like, oh, this year this person's gonna die though. Like, I wonder if she's being very specific or
yeah.
something.
Well, if she's being specific, then I guess none of them are right. But
Hmm.
the closest probably is Harry, who dies when he's like 17 years old, technically.
Yeah.
She says to McGonagall, "If you must know, Minerva, I have seen that poor Professor Lupin will not be with us for very long. He seems aware himself that his time is short." She says this during their Christmas dinner, which that's also true because
Hmm.
Professor Lupin stops teaching at the end of that year.
Yeah. And he seems aware himself that his time is short. Like, because he always says, like, I know not to get too comfortable because, I'm just not accepted anywhere. So he's used to kind of flitting from here and there.
Yeah. And then she says, "You are preoccupied, my dear," she said to Harry. "My inner eye sees past your brave face to the troubled soul within. And I regret to say that your worries are not baseless. I see difficult times ahead for you, alas, most difficult. I fear the thing you dread will come to pass, and perhaps sooner than you think." And she says that in book 4. And Harry thinks that this is a reference to like his fears about Sirius being caught. But I think it's about Voldemort, because like
Me
literally
too.
that year he comes back, and I think that's more of a like overall fear for Harry of Voldemort than like something happening to Sirius.
I very much agree with that. Like, I think that he thinks this is about Sirius because he thinks that's the worst thing that would happen is Sirius being caught. In reality, the worst thing that can happen is that Voldemort comes back.
Yeah. Then she says the position of Mars with a relation to Saturn at that moment meant that people born in July were in great danger of sudden violent deaths. She says that in book 4. That's the class before the first task. So I think she's just making a guess that Harry's going to like die in the first task.
Yeah.
Which we know doesn't happen. So
yeah.
Then she says, "Death, my dears, it comes ever closer. It circles overhead like a vulture, ever lower, lower over the castle." She says that in book 4 after the first task. And this I would say is true because
I think this is about Cedric.
Yeah, it seems like it's about Cedric, right?
Yeah. Sad.
Yeah. Ugh. And then to Umbridge, she says, when Umbridge is like trying to get her to make a prophecy, she says, "I think I do see something that concerns you. Why? I sense something dark, some grave peril. I'm afraid that you are in grave danger." And she says that in book 5 during like her class inspection. And I think she's just making something up because she's got to like make a prophecy. But Umbridge does get like attacked by the centaurs at the end of that book. So it kind of comes true.
Yeah, that's what I think is funny because I think maybe this is another thing, kind of like how she sees Neville. Maybe she sees that this woman is so evil that something bad will happen to her. So that's why she's like trying to make up something. But she's also kind of like, well, this lady can be put in grave peril because of her actions.
Yeah, she's like, karma's going to come around to you eventually.
Yeah.
And then this one I thought was really interesting. This was in book 6. She said, "If Dumbledore chooses to ignore the warnings the cards show," and her bony hand suddenly closed around Harry's wrist. "Again and again, no matter how I lay them out," she pulled a card dramatically from underneath her shawls. "The lightning struck tower," she whispered. "Calamity, disaster, coming nearer all the time." And she says that right before Harry and Dumbledore leave to find the Horcrux. And then the lightning struck tower, like Dumbledore, I would say this 100% came true, that she predicted that Dumbledore was going to die.
Yep, exactly. Because then she even references if Dumbledore chooses to ignore the warnings the cards show, because she knows it's specifically about Dumbledore. And she's like, yeah, I think she
probably like tried to tell him.
And then too, it says calamity, disaster coming near all the time. So maybe she has been saying to Dumbledore, like, there is disaster that is coming. And I think, like, you know, Dumbledore knows that this isn't like the safest path and he could die. And he's just ignoring it for the greater good type of thing.
Well, yeah, because his like arm, like he knew that he was dying anyway.
Yeah,
like he's slowly dying.
Oh yeah, I forget about that. So maybe that's like ever since he destroyed the ring and is slowly dying, she's probably like, hey, this is happening. And he's like, you're crazy. But
that
like,
explains like the coming nearer all the time. Like he's slowly like inching towards death.
Yeah.
Okay, so that ends her predictions. Now there's like a lot of like just general comments that are kind of like, this is my catch-all category. But in the first class, she asked Neville if his grandmother was well, and Neville said, like, "I think so." And then she said, "I wouldn't be so sure if I were you, dear." I think, first of all, this is like a crazy comment to make to a 13-year-old in their first class. But also, we know that his grandma's alive and well. And then by years later in book 7, she like fights off Death Eaters that try to capture her. So like, I think this is like way off.
Yeah. Yeah. I think grandmother is fine. And that's what I mean. I think like sometimes she does it for the theatrics. Like that's what I think.
Yeah, she's like, I gotta like scare the children in their first class. Beware a redheaded man, and also your grandma, she's probably not doing so hot.
Oh, and October 16th, watch out for that date, honey.
Yeah. Okay, and then about Hermione, she says, "You'll forgive me for saying so, my dear, but I perceive very little aura around you. very little receptivity to the resonances of the future. She says that in the first class. And then later she says, I'm sorry to say that from the moment you have arrived in this class, my dear, it has been apparent that you do not have what the noble art of divination requires. Indeed, I don't remember ever meeting a student whose mind was so hopelessly mundane.
That's crazy.
Again, those are crazy comments to
Yeah.
children. Like,
Yeah.
talk about Snape bullying children. Trelawney, like, she's up there.
Yeah.
She does end up being, I think, right in, not like, I wouldn't describe Hermione's mind as hopelessly mundane, but Hermione has to like categorize magic. Like, in order to believe magic, I very much think that Hermione has to be like, there are laws and there are rules, and there are things that are real and things that are not. Whereas people like Luna, people like Trelawney, I think are much more comfortable in the gray. And I think that's why Hermione has trouble like believing in things like divination and prophecies and like.
He's a very like logical person.
Yes.
And I think when you have unpredictable, because like a lot of what Trelawney predicts is not true, but then half of it is true. So I think what Hermione doesn't understand is like the inconsistency of like, you know, what is real and what is fake. And that's what I think you mean by like the gray, right? And it's like there are some people who can operate in the gray, but Hermione is very black and white.
Exactly. And I think also something that's interesting about Hermione is I think there are things that she just doesn't want to think about. Like, I think that Hermione is afraid of death. And she doesn't like when there's the veil. She's like, stay away from that. Like, don't go near that in the Department of Mysteries. And then the Deathly Hallows, she's like very much against, and she doesn't like the idea of like the Resurrection Stone. Whereas people like Harry and Luna who have lost loved ones, I think are a little bit more like open to that or less afraid of death, if that makes sense. Whereas Hermione is like no, there's a hard line here that I'm not going to cross of like talking to the dead, bringing back the dead.
Yeah, she's like me with a Ouija board. I'm just not gonna put myself in that situation. I can't, do not mess with that. Like,
she's like, if dead people have things to say to me that
I don't need to hear it. It's not meant for my ears. I'm not dead, you know?
Yeah. So I thought that was very interesting comments about Hermione. Okay. Then Christmas book 3, she says that if I join the table, we shall be 13. Nothing could be more unlucky. Never forget that when 13 dine together, the first to rise will be the first to die. And I noted that Harry and Ron are the first to get up together, but this prediction doesn't track because like Snape's at the table, Dumbledore's at the table. There are other people that die before Harry and Ron.
Because there's already 13 at the table with Pettigrew, right? We like determined that.
Oh yeah, that's also true.
Because then who is the first to rise? So they are the first to rise, is Harry and Ron.
Yeah, they stand up together. They're the first ones.
Okay. Yeah.
So I guess there's Pettigrew too.
Because I thought we talked about that before, how she thought there were 12, but there are already actually 13 there because the rat is there.
Oh, I guess that messes it up. But I was thinking, like, I guess Pettigrew is the first to die, right? Out of all of them? Because he dies at if that even counts, though, but because it's not like 13.
But he's 13.
Oh, no. Pettigrew's not the first to die because Dumbledore dies before him. So yeah, so this is totally wrong. And anyway, work it out. I know people also like make theories that this was wrong for that situation, but it's like, or like, well, I was trying to look into theories that explain this. One thing said Dumbledore stands up to greet her to the table or greet them to the table. That doesn't track because it says when 13 dine together, the first to rise. So I don't think someone standing up and greeting someone to the table to start eating would count, right? It's like the first to rise being like the first to leave.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, unless it is that just like antiquated of like he rose first and they were already sitting 13 together.
Yeah, and then I've seen people make theories that this applies to like when in the 7th book when they all get to the burrow and they're all having like a drink together, and then I think Lupin leaves first, and then he's the first to die or something like that.
Mm.
But I'm like, I don't know, like having a drink together in like a haphazard
Mhm.
living room, I think is a lot different than like sitting at a table, like dining together.
Yeah, I think it's I mean, it's also interesting that, oh my God, people thought hard enough about this to like count how many people are in what scene at a table together. Like, I just cannot. Some people out there, man, I thought we were Harry Potter freaks, but
I know. I haven't even like gone down that rabbit hole. I think really what this comes down to is this is like the Last Supper, right? That's what this prediction comes from, is that like Jesus, there were like 13 at that table and Jesus died, right?
I
Like
had
that's
no
what.
idea that was. I'm not very religious, so I didn't even know there were only 13 people at that table.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, only 13. Like he was like 33 and had 12 other friends that were like close enough to have regular dinners together. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Pretty impressive.
I mean, you try being in your 30s and being busy with life and then getting 12 of your other friends to commit to the same
Yeah.
schedule when everyone has their own things going
Maybe
on. I
it was
mean,
like one of those things where it's like every third Thursday or something like that. Let's all clear our calendars for the dinner.
they were committed to their friendship. Let's just be clear
Yeah.
about that. But anyway, let's get back to where were we? So during book 3, Palmistry, she quote, lost no time in informing Harry that he had the shortest lifeline she had ever seen. Which makes sense. I mean, kind of. He dies at
Yeah.
17.
Yeah, I think that's just funny. Shortest lifeline she had ever seen. She lost no time. Just like the way it's worded is funny to me.
It is so funny, the things that she says to children, like, is insane to me.
Literally.
Then she says to Harry, Saturn was surely in a position of power in the heavens at the moment of your birth. Your dark hair, your mean stature, tragic losses so young in life. I think I am right in saying, my dear, that you were born in midwinter, which we know is wrong.
Yeah.
But I thought this was very interesting. Found this theory, which we don't like theories, but I thought this was a good one. All the things that she's saying apply to Voldemort, and Harry has a Voldemort Horcrux inside of him.
Oh. Do we know Voldemort's birthday?
It's December 31st.
Wow.
And he has dark hair and like tragic losses young in
Mean
life.
stature.
Like his father left before he was even born, like all the issues with his family. And yeah, so I feel like I don't think that she knows that Harry's a Horcrux, to be clear, but I think maybe something her like senses like sense that.
No, that makes a lot of sense, because then I was also thinking mean stature. Harry doesn't have a mean stature, but Tom Riddle definitely did.
Yeah.
So I think that is a good theory. I actually like that theory a lot.
Okay, we finally found a theory that we like. It's been however many episodes, but we found one.
And I'm always like, nope, next.
So this is proof to our listeners that we don't hate theories if they're good.
100%. If you can back it up,
Exactly.
This one can be backed up.
And then the last comment that she says is, she's like, so Harry's like hiding from her. This is in book 6. She says she's looking through cards. 2 of spades, conflict. And then she passes the place where Harry's crouched hidden. And then she says 7 of spades, an ill omen. 10 of spades, violence. Knave of spades, a dark young man, possibly troubled, one who dislikes the questioner. And then she stops and says, like right on the other side of Harry's statue, and says, well, that can't be right. And then like keeps going. This is like a little tiny like throwaway, but I feel like that sounds like it applies to Harry, a dark young man, possibly troubled, one who dislikes the questioner, which I interpreted as him like disliking Trelawney. And she's like passing where he's hiding and she doesn't see him. Right?
I mean, one who dislikes the questioner, I think, too, applies to, because this is in their lessons, Harry is starting to get upset at Dumbledore, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Because that's what I was thinking. Like, ill omen, violence. Yeah, and like, to me, this is all leading up to them going to the whatever place where the Horcrux is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I would be curious to know, I don't know which lesson this was with Dumbledore, but it would be curious if it like this would be really cool if this was one of the lessons where Harry left frustrated with Dumbledore because he
Yeah.
felt like he wasn't getting everything, right? And he was starting to get upset, I think, at
Yeah,
this
a lot of
point.
the lessons he gets like frustrated with Dumbledore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's interesting because this is we talked about before the other prediction of like the lightning struck tower that was also from the cards. So you talked about like it coming from some source that's not just Trelawney just making up out of her head. It seems like the cards were like more reliable, and also they're both times they like kind of talked about like Harry and Dumbledore and these lessons and going after the Horcrux, which is kind of interesting.
Mhm.
Okay, so that concludes her predictions, but I did jot down a quote just about her predictions in general from J.K. Rowling. This is a quote. By the law of averages, Professor Trelawney's rapid fire predictions sometimes hit the mark, but most of the time she is full of hot air and self importance. So I think it's like, I guess it's somewhat true, like some of her predictions, like we talked about, but in general, like of all the predictions, we just went through all of them. A lot of them were right. Like most
Yeah.
of them were right.
Yeah. I'd say the kind of throwaway comments that she says to the students, those are always one that are kind of like the hot air ones.
Mm-hmm.
But for what it really matters, and I think every time we see that she's kind of right, it's when she's actually practicing divination, right? It's the tea leaves. It's
Yeah.
her doing the cards. It's like real things that she can like, and it's kind of like when she's reading someone's aura, like with Harry. Like I think it's like she does have a gift. I just think that sometimes when she's like trying to seem cool and like divination-y, that's the fake stuff, right? And so we see that every time that she's wrong, it's just kind of her trying to like look cool to the students. But every time she's right, she has the cards, she has the tea leaves, like she's actually doing the thing.
Yeah.
Right.
It's almost like if she would stop trying to
Yeah.
like look so cool or whatever, she would
Hmm.
actually be
Have
right and people
credibility.
would
Yeah.
probably trust her. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Okay. So let's get into discussion and theories. So did you have a favorite quote or moment for Trelawney?
yeah, this isn't in the book, but it's from the movies, but I actually really like it. It just makes me
Okay.
laugh every time. It's when she's talking to Hermione and she says, "Your soul is as dry as the pages of the books to which you so desperately cleave." And the way she says it in the movies, like, "Your soul is as dry as the pages of the books to which you so desperately cleave." And then she like pats her hand,
That's
and that's the
such a good
scene where
line.
Hermione like literally like knocks over the ball or whatever. So I just always think of that and it cracks me up. I just like the
Yeah.
way she says it and like it's just so funny.
It's such a good burn to Hermione, like
Yeah.
her like being so obsessed with books.
Yeah.
I wrote my favorite quote she had was she says this in book 6 to Harry. I miss having you in my classes, Harry, she said soulfully as we set off together. You were never much of a seer, but you were a wonderful object. Like you just basically told him, yeah, I miss having you in class because I didn't really like you weren't very good at this, but it was like so fun to make predictions about you
Yeah.
dying.
Oh, so funny.
But I did, as like far as a moment, I did write down. I going back to the Battle of Hogwarts. I looked back at like when she actually we see her like throwing the crystal balls. So Greyback the werewolf tries to attack Lavender Brown, and then Trelawney drops a crystal ball on top of his head, and then she like does it to all the other Death Eaters. But I thought this was such a good moment because Lavender Brown and Parvati are like two of her favorite students. Like they go and visit her outside of class, and they love her
Mhm.
predictions. They're super into it. They're like girls who like believe in zodiac,
Yeah.
and like all that. Like
Yeah.
so I thought this was really cute how like not only is she in the Battle of Hogwarts, but she's defending like one of her favorite students.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, so theories. So first theory, which I thought this is an interesting theory, so I want to get your opinion on this. It's all of her true predictions, so like the actual prophecies that Trelawney made, were triggered by the presence of certain people, like i.e. Snape and Harry, or like kind of going with this, they were made only in the presence of people who could set them into motion. So Harry, Snape, Dumbledore, which is, I guess that's true because, like, let's say the first prophecy she makes in the presence of Dumbledore and Snape, and then Dumbledore's and Snape's actions set into motion, like Voldemort going to mark Harry, and
Mm-hmm.
you know that, like, Harry acting on the prophecy, right? And then the one about maybe Pettigrew or Barty Crouch kind of gets set into motion by Harry and the trio, like, are out in the grounds, and then that's when, like, Sirius drags them in. They find out about Pettigrew. All this stuff happens. Harry's the one that, like, prevents Sirius from killing Pettigrew, so he ends up escaping. So it's kind of like when she makes these prophecies, they do happen to be in front of the people that actually, like, set them into motion.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I have a couple thoughts. I think that that can be true, right? Because I don't think, like, why would she be randomly triggered when she's not near someone to predict something
Mm-hmm.
that has nothing to do with them? Do you know what I mean? So it does make sense that, like, when you're in the presence, like, that natural seer part of her, when she, like, kind of blacks out and, like, says stuff, I think that that part of her is maybe like when you're in the presence of a prophecy that needs to be like come out almost,
Yeah.
that is what is going to trigger it, is who you're with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, to me, that makes sense. But I'd be curious to hear, like, other seers and other prophecies that has ever been made. Has there ever been a prophecy where the subject is not there? Like,
Yeah.
has someone ever just randomly in a room by themselves predict something about someone else? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or is it always, oh, the friend of the friend, or someone who's going to set that in motion has to be present to hear that prediction, to then go and take the actions to, you know, that whole chain of events to be set off.
Yeah. It kind of makes me think of when they say, like, if a tree falls in a forest, does it make a sound if no one hears it? Or, like, whatever that,
Yeah.
like, saying is. If someone hears a prophecy, aren't they just, like, motivated to act on it in
Hmm.
general? Like, Snape here overhears it and he's motivated to then go tell Voldemort. So it's like you said, like, if they're in an empty room or making this to some random person who has no idea about any of these people, like, would it happen?
Hmm.
Because I think in the Harry Potter canon, all prophecies don't necessarily come true.
Yeah.
The main prophecy of this story is the whole, like, Harry and Voldemort, right? I kind of think the only reason why that came true was Voldemort decided to take it as law and act that way. So he was constantly pursuing Harry, and Harry decides to, like, fight back, and that's why it came true. But, like, let's say Voldemort never learned about the prophecy, I don't really think it would have come true.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really know, to be honest. Because then it's like, I just think that sometimes Voldemort, like, set up the path. So it's like, yeah, I don't know.
Or, like, if Voldemort never heard this prophecy, would then something else have
I don't think
motivated
he would
him?
have I don't think if Voldemort hadn't ever heard this prophecy, I don't think he would have thought to go attack like Harry or Neville. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I'm wondering, like, let's, like, remove this prophecy being told from existence. Or, like, let's say this prophecy was told to someone else that wasn't wasn't Dumbledore, that Snape didn't hear. Like, would something else have happened that then motivated Voldemort to go after Harry or Neville? Like some
Mhm.
event or something, like.
The world may never
The
know.
world may never know. So we'll leave that one unanswered. The next theory is that Trelawney has the potential for a powerful seeing gift, but her lack of focus stops her from honing her abilities. Like, if she actually, like, worked honestly to improve her skills, she would be a seer.
I think we agree with this, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think this kind of goes what we kind of, like, concluded before, that she spends too much time with the
Trying to
dramatic
be
flair.
Yeah, she spends too much time, I think, trying to be Cassandra, like her great great grandmother, whoever she is, that she is not fully like living what she can.
So should we get into talking about fan casting and the movie Trelawney?
Yeah. Can I just like skip ahead to the movies part really quick?
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, I somehow had no idea that this was Emma Thompson. And when I saw this, I said, "Oh my God, it makes so much sense." Like thinking about like her quirky character and like I guess because of her wig, like her hair and the glasses, you really cannot recognize her. So I had absolutely no idea that Emma Thompson was in the Harry Potter series until we filmed this episode on the pod.
Yes, she is almost unrecognizable with the
Yeah.
huge glasses and the like big like hair and all the things
Hmm.
and like all the shawls. Yeah, like it's so interesting that Emma Thompson is in this like side role. Emma Thompson is like a huge actress and
Yes.
she's like Trelawney of all people, right?
Yeah.
Like
It's
Emma
kind of
Thompson
like
could
they're
play
like, oh.
McGonagall for sure. Like she would kill it at McGonagall. McDonald's.
I think she could play a lot of characters in Harry Potter, but it's just so funny that like I think she could also do like a nice Mrs. Weasley too.
Yes. Also, I went down the rabbit hole of Emma Thompson because I really liked how when we did the Cedric episode, you gave us fun facts about Robert Pattinson. So I wanted to do that for
Mhm.
Emma Thompson. If you want to
Oh
hear some.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I have a bunch of like random fun facts about her, and they're going to kind of also weave into other Harry Potter people. She was married to Kenneth Branagh, who's the one that plays Gilderoy Lockhart in the Harry Potter movies.
Oh, what?
Yes, the two of them were married. They like got divorced, but I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that's funny.
And then Emma Thompson and Emma Watson, who plays Hermione, actually share the same birthday, April 15th.
Oh, cute.
So Emma and Emma. And then Emma Thompson, who we know plays Trelawney, and Alan Rickman, who plays Snape, they're in a ton of stuff together and they're like great friends, or they were great friends before he passed away. So they appear as co-workers in Harry Potter, right? They're in-laws in Sense and Sensibility. They're a married couple in Love Actually. And then they play exes in The Song of Lunch.
Wow.
So they've played a lot of different like roles
Yeah.
with each other. And they were close friends before he passed away. And she still carries a note from him that says, "Always speak the truth, it costs less."
Aw.
And when she visits their favorite cafe, she orders 2 teas and talks to him as if he's still there.
Oh my
So it was
God,
sweet.
she's kind of like crazy.
Yeah, maybe this goes into her being a little bit like Trelawney.
Yeah. That's
Um,
really sweet. I wonder if she
yeah.
actually does that. Like, what?
Yeah, I don't know like how true, or maybe she just like orders 2 teas and you
Yeah.
like some things remind you of people that you've lost, and so like when you do those things you kind of like feel like they're there. Maybe like it's more
Mhm.
like that,
Yeah.
but
Do you, in your family, I don't know if you do this might just be like an Asian thing, but whenever we have like family meals and stuff, we actually like make a plate for like my grandma and my poppy, and we like put it outside for them and stuff. Like
oh,
we
that's
make a
really
plate of food
cute.
for them, and
I've
like
never
so
done
they
that
have a plate
before.
of food. Yeah, I was just wondering if other people do it. I don't know if it's like very like tradition, or I don't really even know where it comes from. I just know like we've always done that whenever it's like a big meal. We try to remember to like make a plate for them and like put it out.
Yeah,
So,
that's really cute. I like that.
yeah.
And you put it like at the table, or you
It
put it
depends, like, we'll put it, I mean, usually sometimes we'll put it outside, like, on the porch or something, or we'll put it on the table and, like, no one will eat from it, you know?
yeah. That's cute. So Emma Thompson writes and acts, and in she was in Sense and Sensibility. That film came out in 1995. I don't know. Have you ever seen that movie?
No, I've always tried to start it because you know me, I'm a big, like, Pride and Prejudice girly, but I just never got into it. Like, would always start it and watch, like, 20 minutes of it and get bored.
Yeah, it's been like a long time since I've watched it. I watched it like as a kid, but yeah, I think like the older movies are like slower
Mhm.
and like
Yeah.
but for that movie, she won the Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay and also won Best Actress for Howard's End. So she's the only person in history to win Academy Awards for both acting and writing.
Wow. In history.
Yeah.
Wow.
And when she was writing Sense and Sensibility, she was having a problem with her computer and she couldn't get this, like, she couldn't retrieve the script. And so she took her computer to Stephen Fry, who, after like hours, managed to get the script back. Which, the reason I bring this up is Stephen Fry is one of the people that does the like audiobook for Harry Potter. Like, there's different
Oh.
versions of the audiobooks. So Jim Dale does one and Stephen Fry does one. So that's like a little Harry Potter connection.
Yeah, that's cute.
But continuing on Emma Thompson, so she also wrote the Nanny McPhee screenplay, which we just talked about that movie in a
Oh,
previous episode.
yeah.
And several Harry Potter characters appeared in Nanny McPhee, which I like forgot. I need to rewatch this movie. So not only Emma Thompson, obviously, but Imelda Staunton, who's Umbridge, she's in Nanny McPhee. Kelly MacDonald, we talked about the Ravenclaw ghost that's a Grey Lady. She's in Nanny McPhee. Then Ray Fiennes, Voldemort, is also in Nanny McPhee. And then Maggie Smith, McGonagall's in it. And then Reese Ifans, Xenophilius Lovegood is also in it. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 6 of the actresses are also in that movie.
I'm looking up who Ray Fiennes play in Nanny McPhee. I don't remember.
I think there's a lot of like, I gotta rewatch this movie. I think there's a lot of extra people like at the end.
Oh, well, it's funny because it's like, also, I mean, I just think like British actors, like there's so many that who just like do the same, like, you know what I mean? They're in the same shows together all the time. A lot more so than American actors. Like, I feel like there's so many American actors that it's like, you know, they get jumbled together eventually. But I feel like the staples, like Emma Thompson, she's in like everything. And then if you're like writing something, you're just like, oh, we gotta put Emma Thompson in here. You know what I mean? So I think
because British people gotta get Emma Thompson slotted in.
Yeah. And so they just end up always all playing together. And also when you think about it, like Harry Potter is such a big franchise that it's like there are so many characters and so many opportunities, and it's based, you know, in the UK. So it's like, yeah, they're going to pull from their pool of actors.
Yeah.
So I think it's like, you know, eventually if you haven't played in Harry Potter, did you really make it? You know? So
if you haven't been involved in Harry Potter in some way, you haven't really made it. It's basically what we're telling the world.
100%. Because then, like, you know, the HBO Max series is going to come out, and it's like, I wonder who they're going to put in that. That's like British actors and things like that. So
yeah,
I'm interested.
And even like, you know, there's the like plays like The Cursed Child and like different, you know, Fantastic Beasts. You get more people in those, like all that.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, I really hope they put Kit Connor in Harry Potter. I don't know. I just think that would make my day.
Who? I need to look this person up. I don't know who this is.
Kit Connor. He was in Heartstopper. Did you ever watch that?
No.
It's a cute little like romance thing.
Okay, I looked him up. I don't think I've seen him in anything.
Yeah, he honestly, he plays in like a lot of stuff actually, but like when he was younger, he would play like little boys and stuff, and now he's like a grown man. So they have him as like the heartthrob and a lot of stuff because he's very cute.
Gotcha. Okay, it says he was in Ready Player One. I've seen that movie. I don't remember who he was, but
he could probably play like Cedric Diggory or something, you know?
Oh my gosh, you just anyone that you think is cute, you're like Cedric Diggory. Diggory.
Yeah, because Cedric Diggory is cute. So
okay, and then my last little part of fun facts of Emma Thompson, and then we can move on from her is. She also, so she's not credited, but she helped like rewrite some of the dialogue for the movie Pride and Prejudice 2005, which we love. We just talked about that. She told the director Joe Wright to sit down and take notes, and then she performed lines for him. So she kind of like improv like some of the lines, and then those ended up making it into the movie.
Oh, cool.
And one of the most famous and one of my favorites is she improvised one of the film's iconic speeches, which is Charlotte Lucas's speech when she talks about deciding to marry, what's his name?
Yes.
And this speech is so good. And I feel like it's come up so much in like memes and things because it says, I'm 27 years old. I have no money and no prospects. And I'm already a burden to my parents and I'm frightened. So don't judge me, Lizzie. Don't you dare judge me. It's so good.
Yeah, it is. And wow, so Emma Thompson, like, she came up with that and it was added to the wow.
So good.
Amazing.
She's everything that anyone could want to be, basically.
Yeah. I think even the first part of her being like, "Oh, don't look at me like that." Like that's definitely. Oh, I could see Emma Thompson doing that whole thing, that whole scene.
Yes, the delivery is great and the
Mhm.
lines are great. It's so they do Pride and Prejudice. I love this movie and the
Mhm.
female friendships, the sister relationships, like they're done so well. I
Mhm.
love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, testament to its time.
Yes, and if you're also we've been just talking about Emma Thompson. Like I assume people know who she is, like from Sense and Sensibility and Nanny McPhee. She's also in Love Actually, which I know people are watching around the holidays, and Cruella. She like plays the like designer lady. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like her other stuff. She's in so much.
Mhm. Yeah. She's the teapot in Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, so she and I also wanted to give a little credit to now that there's the full cast audiobook. There's a voice actress that does the Trelawney scenes. So I don't know how to say this name. Saris, whatever. Monica Jackson. She's from Dairy Girls, The
Okay.
Flash, and Upgraded.
Saoirse, I think is how you say it.
Saoirse, but it's like Saoirse Monica is like her name, like it's like a dash.
Mhm.
Anyway, she plays Trelawney in the audiobook, so credit to her as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah. So funny thing, I actually just watched yesterday. That's how I know how to pronounce her name. Because I've been watching around it's, December, so it's Christmas time, and I've been watching Great British Bake Off, the holiday edition. But yeah, so they brought in the cast of the Dairy Girls to do the Great British Bake Off, which I thought was funny.
Oh, cool.
And she was on it. So they were saying her name, and she actually won the like competition against like her actor friends. So
Oh, cute. Okay. So yeah, credit to them for playing Trelawney. So Trelawney's description from the books is Harry thinks she looks like a large glittering insect or like a dragonfly. She's very thin, spindly neck, wears large glasses that magnify her eyes several times their size. She wears shawls, lots of chains, lots of beads and bangles on her wrists, like rings on her fingers, and a lot of green, I think is mentioned. So just imagine, like, I think we all know this lady that, like, you've met this lady in your lifetime that wears all
yeah.
the beads. So, do you want to start with your fan cast?
Yeah, so based on that description, I just want a disclaimer. And then you know this about me. I don't usually go by the description to pick people. I think you do for sure. But for me, I go more for like their character and like who I think that they could play. So I have two fan casts and they're very different.
Okay, okay.
So
I have two as well. So we can do you want to do
okay.
your two or do
Yeah,
like
I'll do
okay.
both mine and then you can do yours. So
Okay.
my two fan casts. First one's Amy Poehler.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can see it.
Because I just think that she could be. I think in Parks and Rec, like she plays a really like funny character, like very out there. So I think she could almost twist that character a little bit and make her seem like more ethereal, kind of, and play just a really like out there, like do you see into the beyond, like type of person.
And she has very like noticeable like round eyes, I feel.
Yeah, yeah. I think they can really like make her look crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Amy Poehler is from Parks and Recreation,
Mhm.
SNL.
If you don't know who Amy Poehler is, I'm sorry for you.
Yeah, she's in a lot of stuff. She's a lot of times like opposite Tina Fey and thing movies. So Baby
Mhm.
Mama, like I'm thinking like old
Yeah.
stuff, but yeah.
Oh, Baby Mama is classic. That's like the movie I like her the most in because obviously it's like Tina Fey too, but they're amazing in that.
So who's your second?
My second is Jennifer Coolidge,
Oh
um,
yeah.
which definitely does not fit the description of like who Trelawney is in the books. But I just also think, obviously Jennifer Coolidge, she plays in White Lotus. She's actually the stepmom in Cinderella Story. And like
Legally Blonde.
legally, yeah, so she is just hilarious to me. And I do think she could like be kind of like a crazy, like out there kind of character too, which we've seen her play, but I think like if she twisted a little bit too, she would be a good Trelawney.
Yeah, she would. She would definitely bring like a lot of both of those people I think would bring a lot of like the comedic aspect of the role.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I have two as well. My first one, I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but it's Issa Rae, Issa Rae. She is in One of Them Days and Little and Lovebirds. She does a lot of like
Oh,
comedy.
Lovebirds. I do like
Yes.
that one. Yeah, the Lovebirds. That was a funny one. I don't see her in a lot, but yeah, she's funny.
Yeah, she would be more of like the comedic like role with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then my second fan cast is Christina Ricci. This would be more of like the darker, because she's from a lot of like Halloween-y type movies, and I feel like she would bring the like creepy predictions and like spookiness about Trelawney. But she was from the Addams Family. She was Wednesday, and then she was in the recent show Wednesday as well. She's the girl in Casper. She's in a movie called Penelope. She's done other stuff that's not Halloween movies, but she's done a lot of like
Halloween movie, yeah.
Yeah.
No, she has the look for sure.
Yeah, she has very like big eyes, I feel like, and then you could like magnify those a lot. So I feel like she would be like a fun Trelawney.
Yeah. Oh, she's Penelope. That's where I know her from.
Yes. Penelope, also more people need to watch that movie. I love that movie, and I feel like people have never heard of it. And it has the one guy is like her love interest in that movie. I forget what his name is.
That we're like in love with him.
Penelope has a bunch of people in it too. Okay, hold on.
Is that his name? Or no, is that not him?
James McAvoy. I don't know if I'm saying it, McAvoy. He's like the guy in Split.
Okay,
and
yeah.
First of all, I thought he was so cute in this movie. They're like, the two of them are so adorable. But there's so many people in this movie. Reese Witherspoon is in this movie. She has like a little side role. Catherine O'Hara, Peter Dinklage. Like, more people need to watch Penelope, okay? That's all I'm saying. The storyline of Penelope is that there's this girl with like pig features.
It's just her nose. It's just her nose. I don't know why they make it such a big deal.
Yeah, is it her ears too though, or is it just her nose?
I think it's just her nose.
Okay, so she has like a pig nose. Everything else about her is like a normal human, but people are disgusted by her, and she needs to like marry someone to get the curse lifted, I think, or something along those lines. Yeah. It's so weird, but it's so cute, and you just you have to watch it to get it.
Yeah. And I remember, like, the whole reason the guy stays is because, like, everybody else caught a glimpse of her and they, like, ran away. But, like, he wasn't there. He, like, didn't see her and he stayed. And then they were like, oh, my God, he's, like, the one or whatever.
Yeah. It's a cute little, like, it's like a romantic comedy, I think is what.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's kind of like fantasy world a little bit. But yeah, it's a cute little movie. Okay, so I need to rewatch Penelope and I need to rewatch Nanny McPhee is what I'm learning from this episode.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to rate and subscribe to the podcast wherever you are listening. Next week, we will be discussing a scene where Sirius Black is revealed in the Shrieking Shack. Until then, happy reading, happy listening, and may none of your bad predictions come